Hello, everyone. My name is meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Thank you for joining me. We're going to take a quick look at the national weather update, including severe weather working its way through the Gulf Coast states in Louisiana, not far from Shreveport. We do have an active tornado warning for a Doppler indicated tornado. Line of storms stretches from Texarkana up toward Little Rock and straight down into the Gulf Coast states. Right now, it's all moving off to the east. Let's get you in on the latest activity right now, just off to the east of Nacogdoches out here as we take a look. Here it is. South of Pleasant Hill is the active tornado-warned storm in pink. Now, it's surrounded by a yellow box. That's a polygon for a severe thunderstorm warning. There could be some embedded hail within this system that exceeds an inch in diameter with the greatest size potential right now, according to the National Weather Service out there, 1.25 inch. And we could see straight line wind gusts from this storm system of about 60 miles per hour. So that storm is moving right toward the Interstate 49 corridor right now as it's moving off to the northeast, and it's moving at a pretty good clip. The rotating part of the storm right here due south of the Pleasant Hill area. Now we can take a closer look at that by looking at the velocity products here, where we see the greens right next to these bright pinks. That is where we have the greatest risk for that rotating part of the storm right now. As it's working its way off to the north and east at a clip of, again, it's about 50 miles per hour. So we'll draw a cone from this particular area. Whoopsies. Pardon me while I delete that and start over here. Let's draw a cone from this area up in the general direction. And again, 50 miles per hour is clipping right along, so it will be near Ashland as we push into the 7 o'clock central time frame. You should be seeking shelter in an interior room of a sturdy structure. Get out of things like manufactured homes, mobile homes, RVs or campers, and get into something that is more sturdy. A well-built home that is attached to its foundation. You want to get to the lowest floor possible and get to an interior room, putting as many walls between you and the storm as possible as it moves off to the north and east. Saline by around 7:10, well, it will be in your neck of the woods as well. If you do have a question, you can drop a note right here in the comments. I have that window open and I can address those concerns as well. But again, we do certainly have some rotation in this storm that is continuing to work its way off to the north and to the east. So let's see if we can take a peek here at other factors with regards to this storm. Let me reduce that and we'll go back to the regular reflectivity display. Up near the Mansfield area, we do have some strong storms working their way right across the I-49 corridor just off to the east of Mansfield right now. These are non-severe, but the environment is such that we could see a couple of these form rotation. The best chance of that will be down to the south. As we look in on the Beaumont area down in Texas, out in the hills, we're seeing some strong thunderstorm activity. Look at all the lightning in the last bit of time here. This is about 15 minutes worth of lightning, and this is a very active storm. So as we look from the Devers area and on towards Beaumont, that's where this system is making its way through. There is two polygons here, one on to the left side, and the main core of this storm is just now moving into the eastern portions of this polygon. So the Devers area, and if we go in just a little bit tighter, it's basically rural portions of the county, can expect to see the 60 mile per hour wind gusts and 3/4 inch diameter hail from this storm. It's moving east, due east at 22 miles per hour. The new warning that was just issued by the National Weather Service is for 3/4 inch diameter hail and 60 mile per hour winds, and that one is in effect until 7 o'clock Central Time as we continue to see that storm moving off to the east. So if we go ahead and measure the core of the storm, the center where the hail potential is the greatest, where we're seeing, by the way, where we see the most active amounts of lightning, oftentimes is the case that is where we have the core of the storm and where the potential is the greatest. So we'll take a look at that area and we'll move it off to the east end about 22 miles per hour. It's moving in that due easterly clip and basically is going to stay over rural areas of the county. With any luck at all, if its movement continues to be due east, it will impact areas south of Beaumont on the Highway 10 West corridor, 10 corridor here, as it works its way through the rural portions of the county. If you're in Nederland, you'll be on the outside of a little over an hour before that storm impacts your particular area. So that is a look at what's going on as this storm exits into East Texas and is heading towards western Louisiana and the Lake Charles area. The southern storm likely will have the most energy. Notice it's all by itself. It also has a little bit more energy to work with there and rotation. Look at all the green boxes here. These are all flash flood warnings from the storms that have moved through, and a report here of a stream gauge reporting water is out of its banks out there. That's by the Black Creek area at this time. Patty, good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Let me know where you're watching from if you have any questions at all. But the severe weather threat tonight is in the southern plains. Let me go over the latest on that from the Storm Prediction Center. Give me 1 second while we load that up. So here's a look at the risk area where we see the orange area, which is from Houston all the way up towards the Nacogdoches area. That is where we'll have the what's called the enhanced risk of severe weather. More severe weather threat there, including everything from flooding rains, hail upwards of 1.5 inches in diameter. Also the possibility for some tornadic activity in this area. The yellow box, that's called a slight risk. We could see a few or numerous severe thunderstorms in that area, and that's taking place now. These will continue on their way toward that Greenville area, on towards Alexandria, and just really Jackson, Mississippi. If you look here, you're in a green area, and this is what we would call basically just that very slight risk of some severe weather that would work its way into your area, called marginal. Maybe 1 or 2 storms could be or reach marginally severe criteria. Elsewhere across the nation, this is what we have. We do have a risk of a couple of rumbles of thunder, some showers of rain out in the basin areas of Idaho, northern parts of Utah, and out near the Portland area. Let's take a look at that national radar, shall we? And we'll touch base on what's going on elsewhere. Now, it's been an active few days of weather on the West Coast, and that continues out near Redding, where we do have some rain reports going on out there of upwards of 3 inches of rain by a trained spotter in the Josephine area out there in Oregon. So that's a 24-hour report of 3 inches of rain with more on the way. You get into the elevated terrain up here north of Chico and Redding, we're going to see some of that falling as snow as we go through. We do have some Salt Lake City snow falling on the western slopes of the Rocky Mountains in southern Utah. So from Provo out towards the Rush Valley area, that's where we're seeing some snow showers ongoing there. The Denver area has good old-fashioned rain showers moving off of the high plains and into the eastern plains of Colorado right now and up to the north. Here's what we have going on. A weather wiggle working and wobbling through the state of Montana is going to continue its trek off to the east. And a lot of this moist air here from the Gulf Coast states is now advancing northward on south winds. You can see evidence of it here in the state of Ohio. And as we take a look at that particular area, we do have some dense fog advisories to share with you. Let me go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to show you the fog advisories extend all the way from parts of Oklahoma right up into the northern plains, as there is moist air moving over the top of some mighty cool land. So here's what we have going on there, and action. Here we go. Now, as you take a look at this map, the areas that are highlighted in gray boxes here from Oklahoma City through the Topeka, Kansas area, Des Moines, Iowa, right up to the suburbs of Chicago, particularly north, Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and on up into northern parts of Minnesota, there is a dense fog advisory for the overnight. Some areas will see the fog or at least the low cloudiness linger into the morning hours as we go through. Some of the moisture is going to work its way into the northern plains. It's going to bring a chance of rain, and by Saturday morning, Minneapolis and points in eastern Minnesota near Duluth could see some snow showers from this system. We have winter weather products out here in the blue. We do have winter weather advisories from the mountains outside Seattle near Snoqualmie Pass through the mountains of western Oregon and into the mountains of eastern and northern California. These extend all the way into parts of Idaho as we head into the evening. The red boxes, those are winter storm warnings. Those are in effect for the next 13 hours as the moisture you see out to the west from that system will be spreading its way eastward into the western Rockies. That includes Ogden, Utah. We have winter storm watches in the yellow box areas that are surrounding, and this will be in the northwestern corner of the state of Wyoming as we go into the next 24 hours. So wintry weather is expected out to the west. Here's what's going on as we look in on the Aleutian Island chain out here. We do have some blue counties here, and this is for a winter weather advisory that's in effect for the next 8 hours out there on the southern tips of the Aleutian Island chain. Otherwise, things for the most part in Alaska are fairly quiet. Way up here by Kektovik, we do have a winter weather advisory in effect up in that part of the region as well for the next 15 hours, and that is for Oh, some just dangerously cold 40-mile-per-hour winds out there. Visibility's being reduced to 1/2 mile or less with snow and blowing snow. Only an inch or two of additional accumulation is expected there. So that's what's going on in the great state of Alaska. Zooming in on Honolulu here as we just cross through the Christmas holiday and head toward the New Year celebration. Things are all but quiet there. As we zoom in, we see not much going on the big island there of Hilo and Honolulu. So here is a look now. We do have a watch in effect, a tornado watch for parts of western Louisiana, west of the Baton Rouge area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that we just went over out there in the hills of Texas as we looked out in the Beaumont area. South of Shreveport is where that tornado watch is in effect for the next 7.5 hours. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in and around Shreveport. Look at all of the flooding going on and ongoing out there in parts of East Texas and western Louisiana as those storms work their way through. A few flood warnings right now, flash flood warnings taking place north of Little Rock in and around parts near Batesville, Newport, and Walnut Ridge in the state of Arkansas out there. So some flooding rains taking place in Arkansas, and that is a look at the national weather. Now on the East Coast out here near New York City, but not in New York City, we got some blue boxes. What are the blue boxes? Those are winter weather advisories for the next dozen hours or so for Allentown and for areas near New Brunswick, Bridgewater Township, Washington, and Easton. These areas are all seeing in the state of New York a risk for some wintry weather making its way through. What? Well, between 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday and Saturday. So it's really not even starting yet, but it will begin on your Friday evening commute as you go through. Ice accumulation is the main problem that we're concerned with here, of up to 1/2 of an inch or so. 1/2 of an inch is a lot, maybe 1/10 of an inch for many, up to that higher amount for some. Here's the national forecast. For that, we'll take a look all the way out to the new year. And here is the system off the Pacific Northwest and northern parts of California now, seeing the showers of rain and the snow that's made its way into parts of northern Utah and Idaho. Now, as we go through the time here, as we go through the overnight hours, showers and thunderstorms here that are severe will work their way off to the east-northeast. They'll become a long, narrow, linear line, reducing the risk for severe weather substantially. Although there could be windy thunderstorms, the hail threat and the tornado threat should diminish. South winds, notice this, coming from the Gulf, off the Gulf, right through this system here, moving all the way up into the northern plains, carries rain on the plains next to parts of near Des Moines, Iowa, and moving into parts of eastern Minnesota as we go through Friday morning. A little weather wiggle wobbling through the prairies of southern Saskatchewan will bring a chance of mixed precipitation to North Dakota. Look at what's going on out west. Heavy bands of snow in the elevated terrain of Idaho. This is just off to the north and east of the basin near Boise, so mainly just off to the north and west of you. East of you rather, and most of things quieting down as we go through the midday hours on your Friday out in the parts of California, with another system making its way in as we go into Friday night and Saturday. Now, the system that brought the severe weather to the Central Plains, part of it will head into the Great Lakes. This is when Saturday morning we could see some of the rain shower activity in Minnesota change over to snow and ice. Watch out near Minneapolis. Watch out near Madison, Wisconsin. And the cold air gets sucked in behind this storm system in towards parts of northern Wisconsin. So Rhinelander, look out. It looks like some wintry weather and wind will make its way through your area. Now, another round of strong thunderstorm activity will be possible as we go through Saturday in the afternoon and evening. This spreads into the southeastern United States, while out to the west, we will have some unsettled weather in the Rockies once again, with wave after wave after wave of Pacific Northwest systems. Geronimo, a great reminder that winter isn't so bad, and indeed, it isn't so bad in most of the nation, enjoying quiet conditions. Hey, CJ Johnson, good to see you on, checking in from Wahpeton. That's right about here on the old weather map in the southeastern quadrant of North Dakota. Great to have you on there, CJ Johnson. Okay, now as we head toward the holiday here, the 29th of the month, snow moving into the western Rockies of Montana, western Wyoming, right where the snow folks need it most for skiing and lots of fun. Big time low pressure system intensifies over the Great Lakes, and this is on the 30th. Where does it go? Here's New Year's Eve. What this system develops a Colorado low out on the plains. That means South Dakota into Nebraska could see a winter weather event as we go through the 30th, but this system works its way out onto the plains. As it does so, here we go. This is New Year's Eve. at about dinner time, 6 to 7 p.m. across the eastern time zone, and you're looking at a storm system focused right here in the central parts of the state of Ohio. Now, as we got the north winds coming around the backside, we could get some snow and blowing snow, maybe some ice mixing in. This system works its way on New Year's Day in the morning right into the mid-Atlantic and New England states. Now, it's our Great Lakes states that will have some snow, cold air. This includes places like the Windy City of Chicago, Cleveland, Ohio, Toledo, all the way out into western PA. This will extend into Virginia and the mountains as well, so keep that in mind. Wintry weather, New Year's Day is possible in the northeastern United States with rumbles of thunder and even some areas of heavy rain in places like Massachusetts, for Boston, Long Island, and parts near New York City. As we continue through our New Year's Day, our chance of weather will continue to slip north and east fairly quickly with a little weather wobble in the Central Plains. Candy says, checking in from the NDSU campus, as the Bison from North Dakota are heading to Frisco, Texas for a national championship bid. Good luck to the Bison and all the Bison fans out there. Fargo cheering strong for the home team that has what? 11 championship appearances there. All right. Well, good luck to the Bison. Thanks for watching. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. If you liked what you see here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It means a heck of a lot to me. If you like, comment, let me know if you have any questions or what you'd like to see here on Hutch's Weather. For now, why don't you check out my website? I am a broadcaster here in the Northern Plains of almost 30 years. Now I am streaming online for you. Let me know what you'd like to see. You can follow me on Facebook at Hutch Johnson, Chief Meteorologist. You can subscribe on YouTube to Hutch's Weather or check out hutchesweather.com. Upload some photos from your part of the country. Let me know what you're seeing on this close of 2024 as we glide into 2025. Have a good night. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay informed in the Southern Plains as severe weather and a tornado watch continue.